Hello guys, welcome to my new video. In this video I'm going to be talking about how to read bracelet patterns. Of course I'm going to be talking about the normal patterns, I'm not going to be talking about the alpha patterns. When you want to read bracelet patterns, it's quite crucial that you understand 4 types of knots. So if you don't understand 4 types of knots, as a forward knot, backward knot, forward backward knot, backward forward knot, I would recommend to you to watch my other video where I'm speaking about 4 types of knots. And if you master these 4 types of knots, it will be definitely much more easier for you to read bracelet patterns. At the beginning I want to give you a little bit more theory, and then we will go into the real life settings and I'll show you what I'm doing with the strings. Okay, this pattern I've created by myself, and on this pattern I'm going to explain to you how you can read patterns. You have more ways of how you can read bracelet patterns, and it can be a little bit confusing. It was actually confusing for me at the beginning. When you have a pattern like this on some bracelet page, you are expecting that you will eventually start in this first line, and then you will go on the second line and the third line and so on, and that's how your bracelet will start to appear in real life. Yes, you can do bracelets like this, and many people actually are doing it that way, but there are also different ways how you can read knots. At the beginning I will show you how you can actually read your knots. So there is a way how you can read your knots. One is this straight way, as I said before, and then there is another way how you can read your knots, and that is in a 45 degrees in this way or 45 degrees in this way. And there is a difference between this straight reading and this 45-degree reading, and I will explain to you now what is this difference. Let's imagine you want to start your bracelet in a straight way. I will actually move this line a little bit up. What is important here to understand is that you have these 2 strings, okay, and these 2 strings are creating a knot in this line, which is this line. You have a yellow and a black string. You can see the knot here, which shows a backward forward knot, and it's a black color. So you will use a yellow string and a black string, and you will create a backward forward knot of a black color. So you will be knotting with a black string on a yellow string. And how you do it is literally you take these 2 strings, you will create a knot, and then you will put these 2 strings aside. Now you will take these 2 strings, orange and red, and the orange one is creating a knot here, which is a forward knot. And then when you create this knot, you will put these 2 strings aside. They will not be interfering at this moment with these 2 strings, so you will have already like a 4 strings aside. And you go the same in here, you go the same in here, the same here and the same here. Always when you finish it, these strings will go aside. You're not working with them anymore in this line. And that's how you work on these patterns when you're working in this straight line. Now imagine you finished this first line, and now you are going into this second line here, okay? This first line is already done. Now, as you can see here, in this line, there is a yellow string where there is no any knot there. So what are you gonna do in this other line, which is this second line here, where you're going to be knotting, is the yellow string will go on the side straight away. You will ignore this one string. And then you will have this string, black and red string. And again, you go in the same way. The black is creating a black knot on a red string. And again, you will create this knot and you will put it aside. Now you have these 2 strings, orange and a yellow. Orange will create a forward knot on the yellow string, and then again these strings will go aside. And the same thing will happen in this line, and then you come at the end, and again there is this yellow string which doesn't have anything attached to it, so you will just put it aside. Now you will go into another line, which is the third line, and here you can see there is no any string at the edge, which is just loose string. So here you will take these red and yellow, and you will create a red knot over yellow string, which is a backward knot. And then you will put these 2 strings aside. And you are literally going like this, line by line. But you can see every other line has this one loose string at the end, here and here. So you will always put those aside and you don't worry about them. and then another line there is no loose string, then another line there is a loose string, and so on. So this is how you read patterns when you read them in a straight lines. There are people who like to read patterns like this, and there are people who like to knot their bracelet in this way. Now there are different ways of how you can make bracelets, and that is this 45 degree. So when you read your patterns like this, in that case you are starting with this string, which is this first string in a row, and you are or knotting with this string, or there is knotted over this string. Like for example here you can see the black string here is knotting over this red string, or if there is this symbol which is a backward forward knot, in that case this string will be redirected into different direction, and then the string which is coming from here is actually taking a lead, and then you carry on with that string, which is usually a different color. But the main idea here is that you are going into this direction and creating knots into this direction. So in this case you are not doing like you take these two strings, you create a knot, and then you put these to a side. No, it doesn't work this way here. You will actually follow what is shown in this symbol. So for example here we have a forward knot, so I will knot with this red string over this red string. In that case I can literally go even the forward knot, I can even do a backward knot, it doesn't matter because the final knot will be still the red color. Then I will put this string aside and I'm keep holding this string in my hand. Then I will create this knot, so it's a red knot over orange string. So I will take this orange string, I will create this red knot, and I will put this orange string aside. And then I'll go like this, I'll go like this. In this section I will literally take this black string and I will create a knot over, and I will put the black string aside, and so on. When I come into this section, as you can see, so here in this section you can see there is a backward forward knot. Backward forward knot or forward backward knot will redirect the string into different direction, and you will literally carry on with yellow string now, but you are still continuing into this direction. So in the bracelet making, as you can see, there are different ways of reading the patterns. So you can follow this straight way and you can literally be knotting like a line by line. And there is a little bit different way of how you're organizing your strings. As I said, you're putting them aside and then you actually knotting different strings in a different line. And always every second line has a one string at the side that's actually not used, so you just put it aside straight away. And then you have this other way of reading, which is this 45 degrees in this way and then 45 degrees in this way. And in that case you can literally work in a chevron way, or you can just work in this 45 degrees way like this, or you can work in a 45 degrees way like this. Of course, there is also a segment knotting, and segment knotting is used when you know these 45 degrees readings. And how that's done is, for example, imagine that this is all done. You finished this bracelet here, this is all done, and now you're going to carry on with this pattern here. So you don't need to do it like a line by line like this, or eventually into this direction, like one line here, one line there, then one line here, and one line like this. I mean, some people do so, but you don't need to. And what you can do, you can actually do, for example, these 3 knots, then you will do these 2 knots, then you will do red and black, and then you will do these 2 blacks. And you literally have created this segment. Okay guys, so that was a theory in my computer on how to read patterns, and now let's go into real life settings. So first I'm going to show you how you can knot and read pattern in a straight line. So here we have first 2 strings, we have yellow and black, and I'm going to create backward forward knot. And of course guys, please try to understand, this is not about how am I going to create this knot. For this you need to watch my other video where I'm talking about 4 types of knots. In this video I'm going to show you how the knots are appearing and how is it corresponding with the pattern you are following. So here between these 2 strings I'm going to create backward forward knot, and the knot will be black color. Great, so I've created a knot, and now I will take these 2 strings and I just put them aside. Now I will take another 2 strings, that's an orange and a red one, and another knot is orange knot over red string, and it's a forward knot. So I'm going to create a forward knot. Great, now I'll take these 2 strings and I'll put them aside. Now I will take another 2 strings. Now another 2 strings are red and yellow, and we can see with the red and yellow that there is a red knot over yellow string, and it's a forward knot, so I will create a forward knot. And I will take these 2 strings and I will put them aside. Now another 2 strings are yellow and red, and here we have a backward knot on the yellow string and with the red string, so the knot will be red color. Okay, now we will take another 2 strings, it's orange and red, and now we will create an orange knot on a red string, and it's a backward knot. Great, and I put it aside. And now the last 2, there is a black knot, and it's a forward backward knot on the yellow string. Great, so as you can see here, when I just put it back, so what I've done here is I always used 2 strings, and I've literally, in this line, I've created 6 knots. So it was this black one, orange one, red one, orange one, and the black one. Now we will go into another line, and in another line you can see that the yellow string doesn't have any attachment or anything. So straight away I will just take that string and I will put it aside. Another interesting thing is that in the previous line we have done 6 knots. Now in this line, which is following, we have actually 5 knots there. That's why there is 1 string on one end and 1 string on another end, and these strings we're not gonna use in this line. If this is a 12 strings bracelet, therefore we're just going to use 10 strings. We are going to have only 5 knots in this line. So this string, as I said before, we'll just put it aside straight away. We are going to take these red and black string which are following. The pattern says that there is a black knot over red string, and it's a forward knot. Okay, now I will take these 2 strings and put them aside. I'll take another 2 strings, and that's yellow and orange, and the pattern says there is an orange knot over yellow string, and it's a forward knot. I'll take these strings and put them aside. Now I'll take another 2 strings. What is interesting, when you have 2 strings of the same color, then you can literally do any type of knot. You can do the forward knot or the backward knot, it doesn't matter. Good, I will put these strings aside. Now I will take another 2 strings, and that's a yellow and orange. You can see there is an orange knot, backward knot over yellow string. Great, I've done it. Now I will take these 2 strings and put them aside. Now I have 3 strings left. So as you can see, I will take another 2, which is red and black. And we can see there is a knot, which is a black knot over red string as a backward knot. And I'll put these strings aside. And now I have this yellow left. And as you can see in the pattern, the yellow doesn't have any connection or attachment to anything. So I'll just leave it unattended. Now I'll bring these strings again. So as you've seen, we've done 1 line, which was 6 knots. Now we've done another line, which was a 5 knots. If I'll do another line, it will be again 6 knots, and you will be just adding new knots in this horizontal way. And always when you have these 6 knots, which means it's a 12 strings bracelet, in that case you are knotting with each string in the line. And then after that you have a 5 knots, so always these strings at the edge, you are just not knotting with them. You just leave them as they are, and you are just knotting with these strings between. So this is the knotting where you are knotting in this horizontal way. And these are the ways how you knot the bracelet and how you read the pattern in this way. Now I'm going to show you how you can read your pattern in a 45 degree. Some people are also following patterns like this, from top to bottom, throughout all the strings, from one side to another side, so they are not knotting in horizontal line, they're knotting like this, or they're knotting other way around, like that. So as you can see, the first string is the red one, So we are going to start with the red string, and you would maybe expect like, okay, I'm going to be using this red string all the time up to this point here on the bottom, okay? But that's not going to happen. And why? Because the first knot is actually a backward forward knot, where black string will create a black knot and it will redirect this red string into the left direction, and we will not use it anymore. So I'm going to create backward forward knot with the black string right now. Great, so as you can see, it redirected the red string, and now actually I have a black string in my hand. You can see there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knots over strings they are following, and the black string will be creating a 6 knots right now over all of them, and those knots are going to be forward knots. So I'm going to do those 6 knots quickly, and then I will show you what I'm going to do next. Again, as you can see, always when I create a knot, I'll take this string and I'll just put it aside. Okay, so now I will put this red string aside, and now as you can see in the pattern, I was actually following this line up to here, and now it says there is a forward backward knot on the orange string, which will literally redirect this black string out of the game. So when I create this knot, the black string will go here and I will carry on with the orange string afterwards. So I'm going to create forward backward knot. Great, now I'll take this black string and I'll put it aside because it was redirected with this knot, and I will grab this orange string now. And now it says there is a yellow string which goes over and it creates a backward knot. And now again you can see there is a red string which will create a backward forward knot on this orange string, and it will redirect this orange string again here, and we will not use it anymore. I'm going to create with this red string backward forward knot on the orange string. Great, and I don't need this orange string anymore. And now there is a last knot to do here in this line, and that's a red knot over the yellow string, and that's a forward knot. Great, so I just finished this line, and as I said, you can literally follow this pattern in this way, you can follow this pattern in that way, and as you can see, working with the strings differently when you are knotting in this horizontal way, and you are working with the strings differently when you are working in this 45-degree way. Now I'm going to show you how you can read your pattern in a chevron way. So here is a different type of knotting. As you can see, there is this chevron way, that means there is this arrow. So what is important here, as you can see on a pattern, the first string is yellow, and now we are going to be knotting with a red string, black string, red string, orange string and yellow string. So I'll grab this yellow string and I'll take the red string, and now I'm going to literally create a backward knot. Great, now as you can see, I'll take this red string and I'll just literally put it aside just there, and I'm still holding the yellow string and I'm going to carry on with knotting. So now there is a black string that creates a backward knot on this yellow string, so I'll create a backward knot. Now again, I'll take this black string and I'll put it aside. Now there is a red string that will be creating backward knot on this yellow string. Good, so now there is another string which I put aside. So as you can see here, what is happening here, I already created the 3 knots, but I have only 3 strings that I've put aside. When we're creating these knots in this direction, that means horizontally, in that case, when I created 1 knot, I always taken 2 strings and I put them aside. So right now this knotting is a little bit different. You're always holding 1 string in your hand and you knotting on it, or you are knotting with it, or if it is redirected by forward backward or backward forward knot, then you literally put this string aside, this one which you were using, and then you carry on with another string which is actually becoming a leading string in this line. Okay, now as you can see, there is an orange string that will create a backward knot on the yellow string, so, and I'll put this string aside. and now there is a yellow string. In this case again I can create literally a forward or the backward knot, it doesn't matter because the final knot is still going to be yellow. Great. Okay, now I'm going to work on this side, which is the left side. Great. If you want, you can literally carry on again from here up to the middle point and from there up to the middle point, and you will always be following this arrow. Okay, so this one is going to be the last way I'm going to show you. As you remember before, I had this chevron way, which was the arrow down and the strings were going from the sides like this. And now we have the, let's say, opposite chevron, which means arrow up. And now when you, for example, knot like this, which some people actually are knotting like this, you never knot from this side upwards. You're always knotting from the middle and you are going down always. That's the rule. What I'm going to do is I will grab these two strings in the middle and I will actually show you some very little segment knotting. Okay, I'm going to create a knot because there is a red knot, as we can see. So I can literally create any type of knot. It can be forward or backward because the strings are the same color. Okay, so I have created a knot and now these strings are available for knotting also on this side with this one and on this side with this one. If you haven't done any knot before, they are not ready for knotting because you will be missing knot in the middle. Great. So right now what you can do, let's go on this side right now, on this right side, is that you can be also knotting the same way. That means you will go one line here up to this end point, then you will do other part, then again you will do knot in the middle, and again you will go this way and that way, but I will show you just a very little segment knotting here because it actually fits this very well. It's actually super easy. So what you can see is that I've created this knot in the middle and now I will grab this black string which is next to it and I will do a backward knot over this red string because that's what pattern says. Great. Backward and backward. Fantastic. I will just put these to a side. Now I will grab this red and this black here. And I will literally do a forward knot now. I will do forward knot with the black string over the red string. So now I'll do a forward and forward. And now as you can see, the two middle strings are black. So I will create any kind of knot, forward or backward. Okay, so this is finished and you can see I finished this ornament here. And again, if you start to knot right now, you need to make sure that you are knotting from these top parts. So right now when I just move the strings away from each other, you can see that the yellow one needs to be knotted on the one which is next to each other because that's the highest point here. And then you always go from this highest point or to the left or to the right. If you, for example, avoid this knot by mistake and you will not create a knot here, but you will straight away use this red string, let's say with the black string or something, then you're going to have a missing knot here. So the knot that should be there is actually a backward forward knot which is created with this yellow string. So let's say I can do here a backward forward knot. This one could be a little bit more complicated for you because you would need to understand exactly like how to connect what strings, because this one was even quite complicated for me when I started. So that's why maybe I don't recommend this kind of knotting which I'm showing as the last one, but eventually I would recommend any different style of knotting where you're literally going from the side and you are actually knotting down. That's actually quite easy and is not so confusing for people who are just starting with knotting. Okay guys, so this one was quite comprehensive video about knotting and reading the patterns. Guys, please give me a like, comment, subscribe and click notification bell so you can get an email when I upload a new video. And thank you very much for watching and good luck with your bracelets. Bye bye.